Welcome back to Stone Creek Farm. The world outside can wait. You are home now, standing at the base of the wooden staircase that leads up to your bedroom, and everything you have carried with you today can be set down here at this threshold where the honey-colored timber meets the worn stone floor that has been walked upon by generations before you. Take a breath here, just one slow breath, drawing the air in through your nose and feeling it fill your lungs completely. Hold it for a moment at the top, then release it slowly through your mouth, letting it carry away whatever needs to leave. The evening has arrived and settled over the farmhouse like a thick quilt, wrapping the old walls in a hushed stillness that seems to slow time itself. And outside, beyond the windows, the rain has begun its gentle work, pattering softly against the slate roof tiles and streaming down the window panes in slow, wandering trails that catch what little light remains in the grey sky. You can hear it, now that steady rhythm that seems to wrap itself around the stone walls and timber beams, turning the entire farmhouse into a shelter within a shelter, a safe harbour where nothing urgent can reach you, where nothing demanding can find you, where you are finally, completely allowed to simply be. Another breath now, pulling the air slowly into your lungs, feeling your rib cage expand and your shoulders rise slightly. And as you release this breath, imagine that you are releasing everything that does not belong here in this moment. All the tension flows out with the exhale. All the worry dissolves into the air. All the scattered thoughts drift away on the current of your breath. The rain will wash it all away. The rain will cleanse the air and the earth and make everything new. There is nowhere else you need to be. There is nothing else you need to do. This moment is enough, and you are enough, exactly as you are. The farmhouse smells of aged timber and cool stone, with undertones of lavender drifting down from upstairs, where you have already prepared your space for the evening, where candles are waiting to be lit and pillows are arranged and everything is ready to receive you. The walls around you are a warm mixture of exposed stone and whitewashed plaster, and in the room behind you, the large stone fireplace still holds the memory of this afternoon's fire, a gentle residual warmth that has seeped into every corner and settled into the very bones of this place, into the foundation and the floorboards and the air itself. The warmth touches your skin as you begin to climb the stairs, your hand trailing along the smooth wooden banister that has been worn soft and silky by countless hands before yours, hands that have also climbed these stairs at the end of long days, seeking rest, seeking refuge, seeking the same peace you seek now. Each step creaks slightly under your weight, and these creaks are familiar sounds that speak of home and safety and belonging, sounds that have become so much a part of your life here that you would miss them if they were absent. You move slowly up the staircase, deliberately, savoring this transition from the world below to the sanctuary above, giving yourself permission to take your time, to move at the pace your body wants rather than the pace the world demands. Breathe here on the stairs, in through your nose, filling your belly first, then your chest. Out through your mouth, emptying completely. The body knows how to slow down when you give it permission. The rain grows slightly louder as you climb, and through the tall window on the landing, you can see how the storm has transformed everything beyond the farmhouse into something soft and grey and dreamlike. The fields of Stone Creek Farm disappear into gentle mist. The fence posts become dark silhouettes. The distant shape of Old Greyback Mountain is barely visible through the veil of falling water, like a sleeping giant wrapped in clouds, but here, inside. These thick walls, you are dry and warm and safe, and the amber glow from the candles you lit earlier beckons from the top of the stairs, calling you upward, welcoming you home. You reach the landing and pause for a moment, looking out through the rain-streaked window at the world beyond. The barn stands solid and reassuring against the grey sky in the distance, and inside that barn the horses are safe and dry. Barley and bramble are standing together in their stalls with fresh hay and clean water. They have already been fed and brushed and settled for the evening. The chickens are roosting in their house. The Colonel is on his perch with Henrietta beside him. Goldie and the other hens are fluffed up and warm. Everything on the farm has been tended to. Everything is as it should be, and now it is your turn to be tended to be cared for, to rest. You turn toward your bedroom, and the door stands slightly ajar as you left it. Warm light spills out into the hallway. The lavender scent drifts toward you, stronger now, that sweet herbal fragrance that has filled the entire room and transformed it into a space of calm and peace. You move toward the door and cross the threshold, and as you step into the room, something shifts inside you. Some final release of the day's energy. The shoulders drop slightly, the jaw unclenches, the belly softens. You are home now, truly home, in your most private sanctuary, your place of rest. This is your haven, your refuge, and tonight you have made it perfect. You step fully into the bedroom and close the door softly behind you, not locking it, but simply closing it, creating a gentle boundary between this space and the rest of the world. The lavender scent becomes fuller now, richer, wrapping around you. You had placed a small bundle of dried lavender on your pillow this afternoon, stems you had cut from the greenhouse yesterday and hung to dry in the warm air near the kitchen hearth, and the flowers have released their essential oils into the room's air, filling every corner with a calm sweetness that seems to slow your breathing automatically, that seems to speak directly to your nervous system, telling it that rest is here, that safety is here, that everything is well. Take a moment here to breathe in this scent, draw it deep into your lungs, letting the herbal sweetness coat the back of your throat, letting it fill your chest. Notice how your shoulders might drop a little more with this breath, how your face might soften. The body responds to lavender at a level deeper than conscious thought. something ancient in your nervous system recognizing this as a signal for rest. The room itself is not large, but it feels spacious in the way that safe places always do, with its sloped ceiling following the line of the roof above, creating a space that feels protected and enclosed without being confining. The exposed timber beams cross the ceiling in a pattern of dark wood against whitewashed plaster, and these beams are old, perhaps as old as the farmhouse itself, and they have darkened over the years to a deep brown that is almost black. The contrast they create against the pale walls draws your eye upward and then back down to the softness below, to the textures and fabrics that make this room comfortable and warm. Your bed dominates the space, positioned against the far wall, so that when you lie in it, you can see out the window to your left. The bed stands already made, already turned down, the heavy quilt pulled back to reveal the crisp white sheets beneath, and the pile of pillows you have arranged just so. Some are large and square for support, some are smaller and softer for comfort. The quilt itself is a patchwork made by hands long gone, squares of fabric in shades of cream and soft blue and warm grey, all stitched together with visible running stitches that you can trace with your eyes, following the patterns they make, the way they connect piece to piece to create the whole. Beside the bed, on the floor, thick wool rug in natural shades cushions the space, and the texture of this rug is something you know intimately, having walked across it barefoot countless times, feeling the dense weave against your soles, the way it gives slightly under your weight and then springs back. But you are not going to the bed just yet. Your destination tonight is the alcove. Set into the wall to the left of the bed, beneath a wide window that looks out over the fields toward the barn and the forest beyond, is a built-in window seat. This is where you have created your evening space, your place for quiet reflection before sleep, the place where you will write in your journal and release the day and prepare your mind and body for rest. The window seat is wide and deep, built right into the thickness of the old stone wall, and you can tell from looking at it that it was designed for exactly this purpose, for sitting and watching and thinking, perhaps 100 years ago or more, by someone who understood the value of having a place to pause, a place to be still. The seat itself wears a thick cushion upholstered in soft linen the color of oatmeal, and this cushion is stuffed with something dense but yielding, perhaps wool or feathers, and it has molded itself over time to the shape of your body, so that when you sit on it, it receives you perfectly. Pillows pile on the window seat, some square and some round, some covered in linen and some in soft cotton, and these pillows wear shades that complement the room, creams and soft greys, and a pale sage green that reminds you of the herbs growing in the greenhouse. The overall effect creates a nest of comfort, an invitation to settle in and stay a while. The window itself is old, divided into many small panes of glass, held together by strips of dark wood, and rain runs down each pane now, creating an ever-shifting pattern of water and light. Through the rain you can see the distorted shapes of the world outside. The fields blur into abstractions of grey and green. The barn reduces to a dark smudge. Everything softens and becomes dreamlike through the water. The glass is cold on the outside. You know, cold enough that if you were to press your hand against it, you would feel the chill seeping through. But on the inside, on this side of the glass, the air is warm and dry, and this boundary between cold and warm, between wet and dry, between outside and inside, makes the interior of this room feel even safer, even more protected. On the wide wooden sill of the window, you have arranged 3 candles, and these are already lit, their flames burning steady and golden in the still air of the room. Each candle sits in a simple brass holder, the metal aged to a soft patina, and the candles themselves are thick pillars of pale cream-coloured wax that will burn for hours, slowly and evenly, without dripping or smoking. The candlelight reflects in the rain-streaked glass, doubling and tripling itself, creating small points of gold that seem to float in the darkness beyond the window. The overall effect creates a gentle luminescence, as though the alcove itself is glowing from within, as though you have created a small pocket of warmth and light that stands against the grey evening outside. Breathe with the candlelight now. Watch one of the flames as you inhale slowly through your nose, seeing how the flame seems to grow taller, brighter. Then exhale slowly through your mouth, watching the flame flicker and dance. The flame moves with your breath, responds to you, and this small dance connects you to this moment, anchors you here in this space. The candlelight flickers slightly as you move closer, responding to the subtle air currents created by your movement, and the shadows in the alcove shift and dance. But then the flames steady again, and the light stabilizes, and you can see every detail of the space clearly. The grain of the wood in the windowsill appears, worn smooth by age and touch. The texture of the pillow fabric reveals itself, the slight nap of the linen catching the light. The way the candle wax has begun to pool around the wicks becomes visible, creating small lakes of liquid that glow from within. As you approach the alcove, you notice Miller, your old sheepdog, already settled in his bed in the corner of the room near the door. He is a large dog, heavy and solid, with a white head and chest that seem to glow in the dim light, and his shaggy grey body curls into a loose circle, his thick tail curved around toward his nose. His breathing is deep and even, the rise and fall of his chest slow and steady, and you can see his eyes are closed, his face relaxed in sleep or near sleep. But as you move toward the window seat, he lifts his head slightly, his dark eyes opening and finding you in the candlelight, and he watches you with that calm, protective gaze that has always created a sense of being watched over, of safety, of being guarded by his steady presence. His tail thumps once against the floor, a single slow beat of acknowledgement, and then he rests his chin back on his paws, satisfied that you are safe and settling in for the evening, satisfied that his job of watching over you can be done from a resting position. His presence adds warmth to the corner of the room, a solid weight that tells you all is well, that nothing harmful can enter this space without him knowing that you can relax completely. On the window seat itself, Fig has already claimed her favorite spot. Your fluffy orange tabby cat curls into a tight ball on the pillow closest to the left candle, the one that burns nearest to where you will sit. And her position is strategic, you know, chosen for maximum warmth and comfort, because Fig always finds the warmest spot in any room, drawn to heat like a small ginger magnet. Her fur seems to absorb and reflect the candlelight, turning her into a small glowing ember of orange and gold, and the way the light plays across her stripes makes them seem to move slightly, as though she is made of living flame. Her eyes are closed, her face tucked partially under her tail, and you can hear the soft rumble of her purr, even from where you stand, a sound that vibrates with contentment and satisfaction, a sound that adds another layer of peace to the room, another element of safety and comfort. Fig rests utterly relaxed, completely at ease, and her ease invites your own ease, her calm beckons your own calm. You move slowly toward the window seat, careful not to make any sudden movements that might startle Fig or disturb the peaceful atmosphere you have created. As you lower yourself onto the cushion, the support rises to meet you, firm but giving, and you shift slightly, finding the exact right position, the spot where the cushion has already learned the shape of your body. You draw your legs up onto the window seat and arrange yourself in a comfortable seated position, not quite cross-legged, but something close to it, one ankle tucked loosely under the opposite knee. Settle into your spine here. Roll your shoulders back and down, once, twice, feeling them find their natural place. Let your head balance easily on your neck, not straining forward, not pulling back, just floating in that centered position where it takes no effort to hold it. Notice how when everything aligns, sitting becomes effortless. This is a posture you know well, one that you have sat in countless times before, a posture that feels both grounded and open, stable and comfortable. As you settle into it fully, you take a slow breath and let it out. And with that exhalation, something arrives completely in this moment, in this space, in this body. The journey from the day to this evening is complete. You arrange the pillows behind your back, pulling two of the square ones closer so that they support your lower spine and create a gentle recline, and you test this arrangement, leaning back slightly. Yes, this is right. This is comfortable. This will allow you to sit here for as long as you need without strain or discomfort. The sage green pillow you pull to your left side so that your elbow can rest on it, so that your arm will be supported when you begin to write. Fig shifts slightly at this rearranging, opening one green eye to assess whether these movements pose any threat to her comfort. Deciding they do not, She closes her eye again and resettles, her purr never faltering. On the windowsill beside the candles, within easy reach, you have placed the items you will need for this evening's ritual. Your journal sits there, its leather cover dark in the candlelight. Your fountain pen rests beside it, parallel to the journal's edge. And next to these, a small ceramic cup holds your evening tea, herbal and calming. The surface of the liquid still faintly steaming, releasing tendrils of vapor that rise and dissipate in the warm air. You reach for this cup first, wrapping both hands around its curved sides. Immediately warmth seeps into your palms, into your fingers, traveling up through your wrists and into your forearms. And this warmth creates a deep comfort, grounding you further in your body, in the physical sensations of this moment. You bring the cup close to your face, holding it just beneath your nose, and you breathe in deeply, drawing the scent of the tea into your lungs. Chamomile forms the dominant note, sweet and slightly apple-like, but beneath it you can detect hints of the other herbs you added. The lemon balm that grows wild near the brook, the lavender flowers you dried yourself, the tiny pinch of honey you stirred in to cut the bitterness. The scent weaves complexity and soothing together, and it seems to resonate with the lavender smell already present in the room, the two scents harmonizing, creating a layered fragrance that speaks of gardens and greenhouses and careful tending. Take a sip now. Tilt the cup and let the warm liquid touch your lips before it enters your mouth. The temperature is perfect, hot enough to provide comfort, but not so hot that you must wait for it to cool. The tea slides over your tongue, coating it with mild sweetness, and as you swallow, notice the warmth traveling down your throat and into your chest. Feel how it spreads outward from your esophagus into the surrounding tissues, creating a glow of heat that radiates into your shoulders and down into your stomach. Take another sip and then another, drinking slowly, mindfully, tasting each mouthful, feeling each swallow, making this simple act of drinking tea into a meditation, a practice of presence. When you have taken enough tea for now, you lower the cup and set it back on the windowsill, placing it carefully so that it sits stable and level. Watch for a moment as the liquid inside settles, the small ripples on its surface gradually calming until the tea is perfectly still, reflecting the candlelight on its surface like a tiny mirror. The cup will stay there, within reach, and you will return to it periodically throughout the evening, taking sips between periods of writing, using it as an anchor, a way to return to your senses when your mind begins to wander. Now you turn your attention to the window itself, looking out through the rain-streaked glass at the world beyond, and you allow yourself a moment to simply observe, to watch the rain fall, to see how it has transformed the familiar landscape into something mysterious and beautiful. The rain is steady now, not heavy enough to be called a downpour, but more than a drizzle, a solid, dependable rain that looks like it might continue all night, the kind of rain that soaks deep into the earth, and fills the brooks and makes everything grow. Individual drops strike the glass, some large and some small, and you watch as they hit the surface and then begin their slow slide downward, pulled by gravity, joining with other drops, creating rivulets that follow the imperfections in the old glass, the slight waves and bubbles that were trapped in the material when it was made so long ago. Through these rivers of water, you can barely make out the shapes of the things you know are there. The fields stretch away from the farmhouse, and somewhere out there, beyond the reach of the candlelight, fence posts mark the boundaries of the paddock, and beyond those the dark mass of deep pine ridge stands, the forest that blocks the worst of the winter winds. You cannot see these things clearly now, cannot make out their details, but knowing they are there creates comfort. The world is still there, still real, still solid, but it rests distant now, separated from you by the rain and the glass and the warm space of this room. Inside the alcove, the candlelight creates its own small world, a circle of warmth and visibility that contains only what you need right now. The candles burn without sound, their flames steady and bright, and the wax has begun to soften around them, creating a subtle scent that mingles with the lavender and the tea, a clean smell like beeswax and honey. You watch the flames for a moment, seeing how they stretch upward, pointed at their tips, how they contain gradations of color from white at the hottest point to yellow to orange at their edges, and how they create a zone of heat above them that causes the air to shimmer slightly, invisibly moving the warmth upward toward the ceiling. Take one more centering breath here. In through the nose, filling the belly, then the ribs, then the upper chest. Hold for a moment at the top, then release slowly, completely, feeling the belly draw in, the ribs soften, the chest fall. Let this breath mark the transition. Everything before this moment was arriving. Everything after this moment is releasing. You are ready now to begin the evening's true work, the ritual that will carry you from wakefulness to sleep, from engagement to release. You are ready to write. Your hand moves slowly through the candlelit air toward the journal, and your fingers make contact with the leather cover. Immediately the texture registers, the way the leather has been softened by months of handling, by the oils from your skin, by the warmth of your hands. The journal is bound in what might have once been a stiffer material, but time and use have made it supple, pliable. As you lift it from the windowsill and bring it toward you, it seems to curve slightly to match the shape of your hands, as though it has learned your grip, as though it has molded itself to you. The cover glows a rich brown color in the candlelight, somewhere between chocolate and coffee, and you can see the subtle variations in the dye, the places where the leather has aged differently, becoming slightly darker along the edges where your hands have held it most often, becoming slightly lighter in the center where the leather has been less exposed to oils and light. Small scratches and scuffs mark the surface, accumulated over months of being opened and closed, being set down on various surfaces, being carried from room to room. These imperfections do not diminish the journal's beauty, but rather enhance it, giving it character, giving it a history. The journal rests in both hands for a moment, its weight substantial but not heavy. Perhaps 200 pages of thick paper bound between leather covers with a sturdy spine. The journal settles in your lap now, and you open it slowly, your thumbs finding the front cover and lifting it. As it opens, a soft creak sounds from the spine, the sound of paper and binding adjusting to the movement, and then the cover falls open completely, revealing the first page. But you do not stop at the first page. Inside the front cover, sewn into the spine, is a cloth bookmark, a ribbon of deep burgundy that you have left marking your last entry. Pages turn now in small groups, feeling the paper slide against itself with soft whispers. Each time you release a group of pages, they fall with a gentle sound like a very quiet sigh. As the pages turn, you can see that many of them contain your writing, line after line of blue-black ink in your own familiar handwriting, the record of previous evenings, previous thoughts, previous releases. You do not stop to read these earlier entries, but you acknowledge them as you pass, recognizing certain words here and there, certain phrases that jump out. These brief glimpses remind you of the continuity of this practice, of how many evenings you have sat in this very spot, doing this very thing, and this recognition brings comfort, a sense of ritual and routine that anchors you in time. The journal falls open at the burgundy ribbon, and you find yourself looking at 2 pages. The left-hand page contains your writing from last night. The right-hand page waits empty, ready to receive tonight's words. Your hand smooths across both pages, feeling the texture of the paper, which is thick and cream-colored, with a slight tooth to it, a subtle roughness that makes writing on it a tactile pleasure, that provides just enough friction for the pen to grip without scratching or catching. Very faintly you can feel the indentations where you pressed the pen into the paper last night. The ghost of yesterday's words raised slightly from the surface. Your fingertips trace these invisible valleys, reading yesterday through touch rather than sight. The left-hand page is nearly full, covered with your writing from top to bottom, with only a small margin remaining at the base. Your eyes skim across these lines now, not reading them fully, but taking them in as a whole, noticing the way your handwriting varies slightly from beginning to end, how the letters are more careful and precise at the top of the page when you first started writing, and how they become slightly looser, slightly more flowing toward the bottom as you relaxed into the process. You can see where you paused in your writing, where you set the pen down for a moment to think or to sip your tea, because there are tiny blots of ink at these stopping points, places where the pen rested on the paper just a moment too long and released an extra drop of liquid. These small imperfections please something in you, because they are honest, because they show the reality of the writing process, the starts and stops, the pauses for thought. But it is the right-hand page that calls to you now, this blank page with its clean surface and its potential. Your left hand rests flat on the left page, anchoring the journal, keeping it open and stable, and with your right hand you reach for the pen. The fountain pen rests on the windowsill where you left it, parallel to the journal's edge. As your fingers close around its barrel, cool smoothness meets your skin, a dark blue resin that appears almost black in the low light. The pen settles into your hand with substance, heavier than a ballpoint pen would be, and this weight gives it a sense of importance, a sense of significance, and it requires you to hold it with intention, to be aware of it as you write. The barrel is made of resin that has been polished to a high shine, and over the months you have owned this pen, the oils from your hand have given it an additional luster, a warmth that makes it feel almost alive. The shape of it fits perfectly into the curve of your fingers, resting in the valley between thumb and forefinger, supported by the middle finger, guided by the pressure of the hand. The pen rotates slowly between your fingers for a moment, held horizontally as you admire its simple elegance in the candlelight. Light plays across its surface, creating highlights and shadows that shift as the pen turns. Near the top of the barrel, where it meets the cap, a thin band of gold-colored metal catches the candlelight and glows warmly, providing a small accent of brightness against the dark blue of the resin. Over months of using this pen, something like affection has developed. Appreciation for the way it writes, the way it feels, the way it never fails to put words on paper smoothly and consistently. Now your attention turns to the cap, which is still covering the nib, protecting it, keeping it from drying out. Your left hand holds the pen barrel steady, while your right hand grasps the cap, and you begin to unscrew it with a slow, twisting motion. The threads of the cap engage smoothly with the threads of the barrel, and you can feel them as they turn, feel each small ridge passing under your fingers. The cap turns easily, without resistance, making a very faint squeaking sound as metal moves against resin. 1 turn, 2 turns, 3 turns. Then the feeling changes as the cap comes free, the threads disengaging. You lift the cap away from the barrel, pulling it straight off, and the nib reveals itself. The nib is made of steel with a gold-colored plating, and it catches the candlelight immediately, gleaming with a warm metallic sheen. The nib takes the shape of a small shield, wider at its base where it meets the pen section, narrowing to a point where the two tines come together. A small breathing hole is visible in the center of the nib, shaped like a heart, and this hole connects to the feed mechanism inside the pen, the part that regulates the flow of ink from the reservoir to the tip. Holding the pen at an angle to the light, you look closely at the nib, seeing the fine split that runs from the breathing hole to the very tip, dividing the nib into 2 separate tines that can flex slightly under writing pressure. At the very end of each tine, the metal has been shaped and polished to create the writing point, smooth and precise. A small drop of ink sits right at the tip of the nib, dark and glossy and almost black. This drop has been waiting there since you capped the pen earlier this afternoon, held in place by surface tension. When you touch the pen to paper, this drop will release immediately, transferring to the page, beginning the flow of writing. The ink is a dark blue-black colour that you have grown fond of, permanent and waterproof once it dries, but still wet and workable when first applied, giving you a moment to correct errors if needed. The cap sets down on the windowsill with care, placed with the open end facing upward so that you can find it easily later when you need to recap the pen. It makes a small sound as the metal clip touches the wood, a soft click that satisfies with its precision. The cap sits there, waiting, patient, and you turn your full attention to the pen and the page. The pen settles now in your writing grip. Your thumb and forefinger position on either side of the section, which is the part of the pen just above the nib. Your middle finger supports from below. The pen rests in the webbing between your thumb and the side of your hand. This grip feels natural, comfortable, developed over years of writing, and your hand knows exactly how to hold this tool, knows the angle and the pressure and the balance. Your hand hovers above the blank page for just a moment as you decide where to begin. Slight tension appears in your forearm, small muscles preparing to engage, to guide the pen, to control its movement across the paper. The decision forms to begin with the date, as you always do, placing it in the top right corner of the page, a small anchor point that grounds this entry in time. You lower the nib to the paper, feeling that first moment of contact, that crucial instant when steel touches paper and ink begins to flow. The nib touches down with the slightest pressure. Immediately the texture of the paper transmits through the pen, the tooth of the surface. Your hand begins to move, drawing the pen across the page to form the first number of the date. Ink flows immediately, smoothly, laying down a line of dark blue-black that glistens wetly in the candlelight. The pen makes a sound as it moves, a soft scratching whisper that is the signature, sound of a fountain pen on good paper. This sound speaks of craftsmanship and quality and the slow, deliberate work of putting words on paper by hand. Each number forms carefully, taking your time, making sure each digit is clear and legible. As you write, the nib glides across the textured surface, the slight resistance letting you know the pen is engaging with the paper, leaving its mark. The date completes and you lift the pen, holding it just above the paper. Look at what you have written, seeing the numbers sitting there in the top right corner. Watch for just a moment as the ink begins its transformation from wet to dry, the surface losing its shine, the color settling into a slightly lighter shade as the liquid component evaporates and only the pigment remains bonded to the paper fibers. This drying process takes only seconds, but you watch it happen, seeing the numbers change from glossy to matte. This small transformation confirms that the ink is good quality, that it will not smear or feather, that it will stay where you put it. Breathe here before beginning the entry proper. One breath in, one breath out. Let this mark the shift from preparation to creation. Now the pen moves to the left margin of the page, positioning at the top line, and you prepare to begin your entry proper, to start the words that will empty your mind and prepare you for sleep. A small breath centers you, and then you lower the pen to the paper once again and begin to write. Tonight, the first word appears, each letter forming deliberately, the nib catching slightly on the upstrokes and gliding smoothly on the downstrokes, the rhythm of the writing motion establishing itself. The rain has returned to Stone Creek Farm. The sentence completes and continues immediately, the pen not lifting, letting the words flow one into another. I am sitting in my window alcove, watching the water stream down the glass, and something in my chest softens with gratitude for this gentle storm, for the way it wraps the farmhouse in sound and transforms everything beyond these walls into something soft and distant. The pen moves steadily across the page, and the rhythm of writing establishes itself, that particular cadence of hand movement and pause, of forming letters and connecting them, of finishing words and beginning new ones. Handwriting flows across the page in lines that are mostly straight but wander slightly upward, as is your habit. You do not try to correct this tendency because it is part of your natural writing style, part of the way your hand moves, and the imperfection makes the writing yours, unique and personal. The rain becomes the subject first, and memory surfaces of how it arrived this afternoon. As the pen records these details, the afternoon returns in your mind's eye, vivid and complete, and this remembering becomes part of the meditation, part of the process of reviewing the day and acknowledging what happened. The pen describes how the clouds first gathered over Old Greyback Mountain, how they appeared as a dark line on the western horizon in the early afternoon, and how you watched them build and thicken and spread across the sky, slowly covering the blue and turning the light grey and cool. Onto the page flows the memory of noticing the change in the air, the way the wind picked up and began to come from a different direction, bringing with it the smell of rain, that particular scent of moisture and ozone that announces a storm's approach. As these descriptions take shape on the page, your hand moves continuously, and awareness grows of the small muscles in your fingers and wrist, the intricate coordination required to form each letter, to maintain pressure, to keep the writing flowing. The pen's weight shifts subtly as your hand moves, and your grip adjusts automatically to maintain control. These sensations ground you in your body, in the physical reality of this moment, in the simple act of moving a pen across paper, the sarcum. First drops appear in the writing now, how they arrived large and scattered, hitting the courtyard stones and darkening them with random spots of water. Memory shows you standing outside at the time, bringing in a basket of herbs from the garden. Looking up at the sky, those first few drops landing on your face, cold and startling against warm skin. The pen records how you had hurried then, but not frantically, moving with purpose but without panic, gathering the last of the herbs and heading back toward the farmhouse. By the time you reached the door, the rain had increased to a steady fall, no longer scattered drops, but a consistent shower that meant the storm had truly arrived. Your hand moves more easily now, the initial stiffness of starting to write having faded. The handwriting has loosened slightly, the letters flowing more naturally, more quickly. Something shifts as you settle into the writing in a deeper way. The words come not from conscious construction, but from somewhere deeper, somewhere more intuitive. You are not thinking about what to write next. The words simply appear on the page, the pen recording them almost automatically. You are both the writer and the observer, both creating and witnessing this process. Memory of bringing the horses in from the field flows onto the page next. Walking out into the rain with a rope halter for Barley, but he and Bramble were already standing by the gate, waiting, knowing that the rain meant they would be brought inside to the stable where it was dry and warm. The pen traces how Barley had lowered his massive head to accept the halter, his golden coat already darkening with water, his blonde mane hanging heavy and wet against his thick neck. Bramble had followed without needing a lead, staying close to Barley as he always did, the two of them inseparable friends who move through the world together. The walk through the rain with them appears in ink now, feeling the water soak into your shirt, feeling it run down your face and neck. The wetness had been uncomfortable but also oddly invigorating, a reminder of being alive, of having a body that could feel sensations, both pleasant and unpleasant. A pause arrives in the writing, the pen lifting from the page. Your fingers flex, feeling the slight ache beginning to develop in your hand, not painful but present, a pleasant fatigue that comes from sustained use. Your wrist rotates in a small circle, loosening the joint. The teacup finds its way to your hand, your fingers wrapping around it and bringing it to your lips. The tea has cooled slightly, but remains pleasantly warm. Several slow sips flow into your mouth and down your throat. This pause refreshes you, gives your hand a rest, allows you to step back from the writing for just a moment before returning to it. Outside the window, the rain continues its steady fall. You watch it for a moment, seeing how it catches the candlelight, how each drop creates a tiny flash of gold as it passes through the light's reach. The world beyond the window is now completely dark, true night having fallen while you were absorbed in your writing. The glass reflects the interior of the room more clearly now, showing you a ghost of yourself sitting in the alcove, the candles burning beside you, Fig curled in her orange ball, all of it doubled and overlaid on the darkness outside. The teacup returns to the windowsill and the pen finds your hand again, its weight settling into familiar grooves. Your place on the page appears where you left off, and writing continues, the nib touching back down to the paper, the ink flowing again, the scratching sound returning. The stable scene unfolds onto the page, settling the horses into their stalls, giving them each an extra flake of hay because the rain had made you feel generous. They had immediately begun eating, their large heads lowered to the hay, their jaws working steadily, grinding the dried grass between their flat molars. The smell of the stable comes alive in the description, that combination of horse and leather and hay and old wood that you have come to love. The sound of the rain on the barn's metal roof had been loud but not unpleasant, a drumming rhythm that turned the barn into a different kind of shelter, a cave of wood and warmth standing against the storm. Checking on the chickens appears next in the chronicle, the walk through the rain to the hen house, a small covered structure that sits near the barn. Opening the door to find all the hens already on their roosts, lined up like fluffy feathered loaves of bread, their heads tucked under their wings, their eyes closed. The colonel had been awake, standing guard at one end of the roost, his golden feathers fluffed up against the evening chill. He had looked with one bright eye, assessing, making sure you were not a threat. Then he had relaxed again, satisfied that you were simply checking, that you meant no harm. Henrietta had been next to him, the largest and fluffiest of the hens. She too had cracked open an eye to look before closing it again and settling back into her feathered warmth. A smile finds your face as chickens fill the page, and this smile infuses the words somehow with warmth and affection, with the particular joy that comes from caring for animals, from being trusted by them, from being part of their daily routines. Goldie appears in the writing, your favorite hen, the one who follows you around the garden. She had been nestled between two other hens in the middle of the roost. She had made a soft clucking sound when she heard your voice, a little greeting. This small acknowledgement had created fullness in your chest. The page fills now, white space being replaced by lines of ink. You move past the halfway point, approaching the bottom of the page. Your handwriting has found its natural rhythm, neither too careful nor too loose, simply flowing at the pace that feels right. A small blot appears where you pause for a moment to think, a place where the pen rested on the paper just slightly too long. The ink spread out from the point in a tiny starburst. You accept this imperfection. Do not try to fix it, because it is part of the record, part of the honest documentation of this evening's writing. The bottom of the page arrives, and without pausing, you turn to the next spread, the paper whispering as it moves. Now 2 fresh pages lie before you, and you continue writing on the left-hand page, picking up exactly where you left off, the words flowing across the page boundary without interruption. The afternoon before the rain takes shape now, the hours spent in the sunroom library. This room builds itself in detail on the page, how it sits at the back of the farmhouse, with windows on 3 sides that let in maximum light, how the floor wears a rug in faded reds and golds, how the walls line themselves with floor-to-ceiling bookshelves made of dark wood, every shelf packed with books of all sizes, their spines creating a patchwork of colors and fonts and ages. The plants pour onto the page next, filling every available surface. Ferns hanging from hooks in the ceiling, herbs growing in pots on the windowsills, the small lemon tree in a large terracotta pot in the corner. All these plants turn the library into a kind of indoor garden, green and lush and alive. The velvet reading chair emerges in ink, your favorite piece of furniture in the entire farmhouse, deep red in color and worn soft from years of use, with a high back and wide arms and a seat that seems to embrace whoever sits in it. The description continues of settling into this chair after lunch, after finishing your chores and before the rain arrived, pulling a book from the shelf, one about herbs and their medicinal uses. Intending to read for just a short while, but finding yourself absorbed in the information, learning about plants you grew in your own garden, discovering properties and preparations you had not known before. A pleasant observation appears as you write about reading. You are writing about reading, using one form of engagement with words to document another form. This recursive quality creates something interesting. Reading is a receiving, a taking in, while writing is a giving out, a release. Both are necessary. Both have their place in your life and in this evening's ritual. Fig's appearance in the library flows onto the page. She had materialized from wherever she had been sleeping, jumping into your lap with no warning, settling herself on top of the open book. Her weight pressed the pages down. Her warm body heat radiated against your thighs. The pen records how her purr started immediately, that deep rumbling vibration you could feel as much as hear. This purr made it almost impossible to keep reading, because it was too soothing, too hypnotic. Your eyes grew heavy, the words on the page beginning to blur and swim. You finally surrendered to the drowsiness and let yourself drift into a brief nap, the book still open beneath Fig, your hands still resting on her warm fur. Waking from this nap appears in the writing, perhaps 20 minutes later, coming back to consciousness slowly, gently, with no alarm, just a gradual awareness of transition from sleep to waking. Fig had still been on your lap, still purring. The light in the library had changed, become greyer, announcing the storm's approach. This nap had left you feeling refreshed, but also slightly disoriented, the way afternoon naps sometimes do, caught between states, between sleeping and waking, between the dream world and the real world. Your hand moves steadily across the page. The left page of this spread fills, and you move on to the right. The act of writing has become automatic now, your hand knowing what to do, your mind free to wander through memories and observations while your hand does its work. Take a breath here as you prepare to shift the energy. The next part will be different. In, through the nose, filling the belly. Out through the mouth, emptying completely. This breath marks the transition from outer events to inner landscape. The tone shifts now in your entry, moving from description to something more internal, more emotional. There are things that have been troubling me, the pen writes, and then it hovers above the page as you consider how to continue, how to give voice to the anxieties that have been sitting in your chest, making your breathing slightly shallow, creating tension in your shoulders. Worry itself becomes the subject first. The pen explores how it feels in your body, how it manifests as a tightness, a constriction, a sense of something being not quite right. This feeling persists even when there is no immediate threat, no actual danger, just the perception of possible future problems. The writing examines how worry lives in the future tense, always focused on what might happen rather than what is happening now. This future focus pulls attention out of the present moment, makes it harder to appreciate the safety and comfort that actually exist right now in this room, in this alcove, with the rain falling and the candles burning and the warm tea waiting on the sill. The specific worries begin to list themselves, naming them, giving them shape on the page. Financial concerns appear first, whether you have enough money saved, whether the farm will continue to support you, unexpected expenses that might arise. These concerns flow onto the page plainly, without drama, simply acknowledging that they exist, that they are taking up space in your mind. As you write each one, a small release occurs, as though the worry is being transferred out of your body and onto the page, where it becomes external, an object you can observe rather than a feeling you must carry inside. Concerns about people you care about take shape next. Family members who live far away, friends you do not see often enough. The natural worry that comes from caring about others, wondering if they are well, if they are happy, if they need anything you could provide. The helplessness that comes with distance appears on the page, with not being able to see directly how someone is doing, with having to trust that they will reach out if they need help. More abstract worries flow into the writing, the state of the world, all the suffering that exists beyond the boundaries of Stone Creek Farm, the guilt that sometimes accompanies feeling safe and comfortable when you know others are not, how reading news can make these worries worse, how it can create a sense of being overwhelmed by problems too large to solve. The balance you have learned to find appears, limiting exposure to news, taking in only as much as you can process without becoming paralyzed, finding that middle ground between being informed and being consumed. Notice as you write these worries that your handwriting becomes slightly tighter, the letters smaller, more cramped, as though the act of writing about worry is making your hand physically contract. Pause here. Look at this pattern. Consciously relax your grip on the pen. Loosen your fingers. Remind yourself to breathe. Draw air in through your nose, filling your belly. Release it slowly through your mouth. Feel your shoulders drop. Watch as your handwriting opens up again, becomes more flowing. Worry regarding your own worthiness appears on the page. Whether you are doing enough, being enough, contributing enough to the world. How these questions can spiral if you let them, can create a sense of inadequacy that is hard to shake. The writing explores how you sometimes compare yourself to others, to people who seem to be doing more, achieving more, making more of an impact. How this comparison is rarely helpful, usually just creates discomfort, but how you do it anyway, unable to stop yourself completely. The page fills with worries now, line after line of concerns and anxieties. All of them lie before you, contained within the boundaries of the page. Something powerful exists in this containment, in seeing all these scattered fears gathered into one place. They are no longer floating free in your mind, attaching themselves to random thoughts. They are here, on this page, visible and finite. One more worry arrives on the page, whether you will be able to sleep tonight, whether your mind will quiet enough to allow rest. The irony of this worry registers even as you write it, because worrying about sleeping makes sleeping harder, creates a self-fulfilling cycle. Yet the worry persists. You write it down anyway, acknowledging it, giving it space. When this last worry completes itself, you lift the pen and hold it above the page. Take a deep breath here, feeling your ribcage expand. Release this breath slowly, and with it release some of the tension that built up while you were writing about worries. Flex your hand, feeling the stiffness in your fingers. Look at what you have written, reading over the concerns. Notice how seeing them written out like this makes them feel slightly less overwhelming, slightly more manageable. They are still there, still real, but they are no longer amorphous clouds in your mind. They are concrete items on a page, and concrete things can be approached more easily than clouds. The pen sets down on the windowsill for a moment, giving your hand a true rest. The teacup finds your hands again, both hands wrapping around it, feeling the warmth that still lingers in the ceramic, though the tea is much cooler now than when you started. Bring the cup to your lips and drink the remaining tea in several long swallows, feeling it flow into your stomach, adding its gentle herbal calm to your system. The chamomile and lavender work their subtle magic on your nervous system, encouraging relaxation, easing tension. When the cup empties, it returns to the sill. Sit for a moment without writing, simply breathing, looking out at the rain-streaked window, watching the water flow down the glass in endless rivulets. Outside, the darkness is complete now. The rain shows no sign of stopping. This constancy soothes, this sense that the storm will continue all night, providing a blanket of sound that will carry you into sleep and through sleep and into morning. The pen finds your hand again, its familiar weight settling into place. Position it above the page. Now prepare to write the second part of your entry, the part that will balance the worries, the part that will shift the energy from anxiety to gratitude. At the top of the next page, write a single word as a heading, grateful. Under this heading, the things you are thankful for begin to list themselves. Approach this with the same care and attention you gave to the worries, making each item specific and detailed, not just naming the thing but exploring why gratitude exists for it, what it brings to your life. The rain itself comes first, how it nourishes the land, soaks into, the soil fills the brooks and ponds, makes everything grow. How the rain is a gift, arriving without asking, how you cannot control it or summon it, but can only receive it when it arrives. This receiving is its own form of practice, a reminder that not everything in life requires effort or striving, that some things simply come freely from the world. The farmhouse appears on the page next, these old walls that shelter you, the craftsmanship that went into building this place so many years ago, the people who laid these stones and raised these beams and created a structure that has lasted through generations and will likely last through many more. Living here creates a connection to history, to all the people who have lived in this house before you. Sometimes you imagine them sitting where you sit now, looking out this same window, watching their own rainstorms, seeking their own peace. Miller receives his due on the page now. Your faithful sheepdog, you glance over at him as you write, seeing him still curled in his corner, his breathing deep and even. Affection surges for this old dog who has been with you through so much, who asks for nothing but food and water and the occasional pat on the head, who gives in return a loyalty and watchfulness that creates safety, protection. The uncomplicated way that animals love, without judgment or condition, pours onto the page. Fig finds her place in the gratitude. As if she knows you are writing about her, she shifts in her sleep, stretching out one orange leg and then pulling it back in. Her purr shifts in tone for a moment before settling back into its deep rumble. The pen records how Fig always finds warmth, how she seeks comfort with a single-minded determination that invites admiration. She has no qualms about taking up space, about claiming what she needs. Watching her has taught you something about self-care, about the importance of seeking out what makes you comfortable, what makes you content. The horses appear, barley and bramble, their gentle natures and steady presence. Caring for them gives you purpose and routine. Their needs structure your days and give you reason to go outside, even when you might prefer to stay in. The joy of watching them in the field finds its way onto the page, how they move together, how barley's massive golden form and bramble's darker, smaller shape create a pleasing contrast, how they touch noses and stand close. Their friendship is evident in every interaction. Your hand moves more quickly now. The gratitude flows more easily than the worries did. A smile finds your face again as you write. The act of naming these blessings, creating warmth in your chest that has nothing to do with the physical temperature of the room. The pen scratches steadily across the paper, filling line after line with blue-black ink. You are not thinking about what to write next. The items simply appear, flowing from some deep well of appreciation that you did not know was quite so full. The chickens receive their acknowledgement. The simple pleasure of collecting eggs each morning, how it never gets old, reaching into the nesting boxes, and finding those warm, smooth ovals waiting. This daily gathering feels like receiving small gifts, like the hens are offering their bounty. Goldie gets specific mention, her friendly nature, how she runs to greet you when you enter the garden, how she will sit in your lap if you let her, her warm weight settling against you, her soft feathers ruffling under your hand. The garden itself appears in ink, the herbs and vegetables that grow there, how working in the garden grounds you in your body, makes you aware of muscles and breath and sun on skin, how eating food you have grown yourself creates a connection to the earth that is hard to describe but deeply nourishing. The satisfaction of seeing plants grow from tiny seeds into full productive specimens, the patience this requires, the faith, the consistent care, the sunroom. Library takes its place in the gratitude, how it serves as both a place of learning and a place of rest, how the books there represent accumulated wisdom from thousands of minds across centuries, how you can reach up and pull down any volume and find yourself in conversation with someone who might have lived 100 years ago or more. This room creates a feeling of being part of something larger than yourself, part of the great human project of learning and sharing and preserving knowledge. The food you ate for dinner tonight flows onto the page, simple but nourishing. Bread you had baked 2 days ago, cheese from Mrs. Puddle in the village, apples from Sweet Briar Orchard. The satisfaction of eating simple food appears, of not needing elaborate preparations or exotic ingredients to feel satisfied. How your body recognizes and appreciates food that is real, whole, minimally processed. Eating at the kitchen table as the rain began, the sound of the rain against the windows providing gentle accompaniment to your meal. Eating slowly, mindfully, tasting each bite, grateful for the nourishment and the quiet solitude of the meal. The village of Little Briar receives recognition. The community there. Old Mr. Abernathy, who runs the general store and always has a kind word and a piece of news to share. Mrs. Puddle, the baker, whose shop always smells of fresh bread and cinnamon. Silas, the wood carver, who lives down the road and sometimes brings you small carved animals as gifts, little treasures he makes in his workshop. Knowing these people, being known by them, creates a web of connection that makes you feel less alone, less isolated, part of something communal, even though you live somewhat apart. The changing seasons find their place on the page. How you are aware of them here in a way you never were when you lived elsewhere. How you notice the subtle shifts in light and temperature. How you can feel autumn approaching in the quality of the air, in the angle of the sun, in the behavior of the animals who are preparing for colder weather. This awareness of seasons creates connection to the natural world, attunement to rhythms that are older and larger than human concerns. Your health appears in the gratitude. The fact that your body works, that you can walk and lift and bend and use your hands for work and for writing. How easy it is to take this for granted until something goes wrong. How you are trying to cultivate a practice of appreciation for your body's capabilities while you have them. The simple pleasure of moving through space, of feeling muscles work, of breathing deeply and feeling lungs expand. This moment right now becomes the final entry of gratitude. Sitting in this alcove with candles burning and rain falling and warmth surrounding you. How this is exactly where you want to be. How there is nowhere else in the world you would rather be than here, in this room, in this farmhouse, on this farm. This feeling of being exactly where you belong is a rare and precious thing. Many people search for it their whole lives and never find it. You are aware of your good fortune in having found it, in having created it, in having built a life that feels like home. The page is full now, completely covered with expressions of gratitude. Something has shifted in your chest through this exercise, loosening the tightness that the worry writing created, opening up space for breath and ease. Your handwriting on this gratitude page is looser, more flowing than it was on the worry page. The letters are larger and more open, as though the act of writing about positive things has physically relaxed your hand, allowed it to move more freely. Another fresh page turns before you. You notice that you are getting close to the end of the journal now, perhaps 10 or 15 pages remaining. A mental note forms that you will need to begin a new journal soon, will need to choose another leather-bound book to fill with your thoughts and observations. This awareness of approaching completion creates a small feeling of satisfaction, a sense of accomplishment in having filled so many pages with your words. On this new page, write another heading, Releasing. Take a breath before beginning this final section. In through the nose, filling the belly, then the ribs, then the chest. Hold for a moment at the top, then release slowly, completely, feeling everything empty. This breath marks the final shift from acknowledgement to letting go. Under this heading, you will write the final part of tonight's entry, the part that will allow you to consciously let go of the things that do not serve you, the part that will create space for rest and peace and deep sleep. Take a moment before beginning, resting your hand, looking out at the rain. Think about what you need to release, what you need to leave behind as you move towards sleep. Begin to write now, and this time your writing becomes more decisive, more firm. Each item on the list gets written quickly and then released immediately, not dwelling on any one thing but simply naming it and moving on. I release, the pen writes, the worry about money. I have enough for today and tomorrow will take care of itself. I release the guilt about not doing more. I am doing what I can and that is enough. I release the need to control outcomes. I can control only my actions, not their results. I release comparison to others. Their path is not my path, and my path is not theirs. I release the fear of the future. The future has not happened yet, and worrying about it does not prevent it from coming. I release the past. What has happened, and I cannot change it, only learn from it. I release perfectionism. Nothing I do will be perfect, and that is okay. Done is better than perfect. I release the need for approval from others. The only approval I truly need is my own. I release tension from my body. My shoulders can drop, my jaw can unclench, my belly can soften. I release the belief that rest is laziness, rest is necessary, rest is productive, rest is how I replenish. As you write each of these releases, pause briefly after each one. Take a small breath. Allow the words to sink in. Allow them to do their work. As you write, something is indeed being released. The act of writing these statements creates a subtle shift in your internal state, a lightening, an opening. Several more releases flow onto the page, each one addressing a specific tension or belief that you are ready to let go of. Your hand moves quickly now, the pen flowing across the page. The words come easily because you have done this practice many times before, because you know what you need to release, what patterns you need to interrupt. I release the need to be productive every moment. Being still has value. I release the fear of being alone. Solitude is different from loneliness. I release the weight of others' expectations. I am allowed to disappoint people. I release the urgency. Nothing terrible will happen if I rest. I release resistance to what is. Fighting reality creates suffering. I release the story that I am not enough. I am whole exactly as I am. When all the releases you need for tonight have been written, draw a horizontal line beneath them, a boundary, a closing. Beneath this line, write a final affirmation, a statement that gathers all the releasing into one simple truth. I release all of this, the pen writes, your handwriting clear and firm. I am safe. I am here. I am enough. I am ready for rest. Read this statement over several times, letting each word register, letting the meaning sink deep into your consciousness. As you read, notice your body responding, breathing slowing, muscles releasing tension, mind beginning to quiet. These words are not just words, they are a key that unlocks something, that gives permission to stop striving, to stop worrying, to simply be. Breathe with this affirmation in through the nose as you read, I am safe. Hold for a moment. Out through the mouth as you read, I am here. Pause. In again with I am enough. Hold. Out with I am ready for rest. Let this breathing carry the words deeper into your body, into your nervous system, into the place where true release happens. The journal closes now, the pages coming together with a soft sound. Feel the leather cover fold over them protectively. Place the journal on the windowsill beside your empty teacup, setting it down gently. The act of closing the journal feels ceremonial, significant, a clear marker that this part of the evening is complete, that the work of writing is done. Reach for the pen cap and fit it back onto the pen. The threads engage smoothly. Screw it down with slow, deliberate turns until it is secure. until the nib is protected and the pen is ready to be set aside. Place the pen beside the journal. The two objects now rest together, tools that have served you well. Their purpose is fulfilled for tonight. Look at them sitting there together, simple tools of pen and paper that allow thoughts to become visible, allow internal experiences to become external records. Your hand is free now, empty. Flex it slowly, opening and closing your fingers, rotating your wrist in gentle circles. Notice the fatigue in your hand, the pleasant ache that comes from sustained writing, from using these small muscles in focused work. Massage your palm with your other hand, working your thumb into the spaces between the bones, relieving the tightness. This small act of self-care honors your body, thanks it for its service. Sit for a long moment in the alcove, not yet ready to move to the bed, wanting to savor this transition time, this space between the work of writing and the surrender of sleep. Look out at the rain, which continues unchanged. Watch the water stream down the window, creating ever-changing patterns that you could watch for hours if you had the time. Faces and landscapes and abstract designs appear in the random movement of water on glass. But sleep is calling. Your body is ready for rest. It is time to leave this alcove and move to the bed. Reach out one last time and gently stroke Fig. Your hand moves over her soft orange fur. She leans into your touch without waking, her purr deepening for a moment. This connection, this brief touch, fills you with warmth. Then prepare to stand, to leave this nest of pillows and move across the room to where sleep waits. Shift your weight forward on the window seat, preparing to stand. Unfold your legs slowly, feeling the stretch in your knees and hips, feeling the slight stiffness that has settled into the joints from sitting in one position for so long. Place your hands on the cushion on either side of your body and push yourself up gently, rising to standing. As you stand, feel your spine lengthening, your vertebrae stacking one upon another, your height returning after the compression of sitting. Stand for a moment beside the window seat, your bare feet on the wool rug. Stretch your arms above your head, reaching toward the ceiling, feeling the pull along your sides, feeling your rib cage expand and your shoulders open. Take a deep breath into this stretch, filling your lungs completely. Then release the stretch slowly, bringing your arms back down to your sides. Take a moment here to scan your body, to notice how you feel. Notice the tiredness that lives in your muscles, but recognize it as a good tiredness, a natural fatigue that will carry you easily into sleep. Notice how your mind feels quieter than it did when you first came upstairs. The act of writing has done its work, emptying out the accumulated thoughts and worries and creating space for peace. Turn and look back at the alcove one more time. The 3 candles still burn on the sill, their flames steady and bright. Fig still curls in her warm spot. Your journal and pen rest side by side. The scene looks beautiful, timeless, like something from a painting. Commit it to memory. knowing that tomorrow this exact arrangement will not exist again, that each evening is unique even as it follows the same ritual pattern. The candles will stay burning for now, continuing to provide their gentle light while you settle into bed. You will blow them out later before you sleep, but for now they can stay, their presence comforting, their light soft and warm against the darkness outside. Turn away from the alcove and move toward the bed. With each step you take, feel yourself transitioning more fully from wakefulness to rest, from activity to surrender. The wool rug is soft under your feet. Notice this softness. Notice the texture. Notice the way your feet sink slightly into the dense weave with each step. The room around you is warm and dim, lit only by the candles in the alcove. The shadows are deep and soft, creating a cocoon of privacy, a space that feels separate from the rest of the world. Reach the bed and stand beside it for a moment, looking at it. The way the quilt has been turned down, the white sheets that look crisp and clean and inviting, the pillows piled at the head, the small bundle of lavender resting on the pillow where your head will lie. The bed looks incredibly comfortable, incredibly welcoming. You can already imagine how it will feel to slide between those sheets, to rest your head on those pillows, to pull that heavy quilt up over your body. Sit on the edge of the mattress. It yields beneath you with a soft sound, the old springs and stuffing adjusting to your weight. Place your hands on your thighs. Take another slow breath, continuing the process of slowing down, of letting go. The rain continues, that constant gentle percussion on the roof and against the windows. The sound seems even more soothing now that you are so close to sleep. Let the sound fill your awareness. Let it become the backdrop for all your remaining thoughts. Reach down and pull off your thick woolen socks, one at a time, peeling them from your feet and dropping them on the floor beside the bed. The air is cool on your bare feet, a pleasant contrast to the warmth they have been holding. Wiggle your toes, feeling them spread and flex, feeling the freedom of being without socks, without constraint. Your feet are tired from the day's walking and standing. Flex your ankles, rotating them in slow circles, loosening the joints, bringing fresh blood flow to the tissues. Swing your legs up onto the bed, lifting them from the floor and sliding them under the sheet and quilt. As your legs make contact with the bedding, register its temperature, slightly cool at first, the fabric not yet warmed by your body. This coolness is refreshing rather than uncomfortable, a pleasant sensation that will not last long, because within minutes your body heat will spread through the bedding and create a warm cocoon. Slide your legs fully under the covers, straightening them out, feeling the length of the mattress beneath you. Adjust your position, shifting slightly to the left, then slightly to the right, finding the exact spot where you want to be, the place where the mattress seems to receive you perfectly. Reach behind you and adjust the pillows, pulling two of the larger square ones down slightly so they will support your head and neck when you lie back. Fluff them with your hands, squeezing them and shaking them to redistribute the filling, to make them soft and supportive. Take the bundle of dried lavender from the pillow where you had placed it and hold it to your nose for a moment, breathing in its concentrated scent. Then tuck it between the pillows, where it will continue to release its fragrance throughout the night, but will not be directly under your face. Lower yourself backward onto the pillows, letting your torso recline, letting your head rest back. As you settle into this half-reclined position, feel the support of the mattress and pillows beneath you. Feel how they hold you. Pull the sheet and quilt up over your chest, covering yourself, creating that sense of being tucked in, of being held and protected by blankets. The weight of the quilt settles across your body. This weight is comforting, grounding, a gentle pressure that creates security. From this position, propped up slightly against the pillows, you can still see the alcove, can still see the candles burning in the window. Watch them for a moment, seeing how their light plays across the walls and ceiling, seeing how the rain continues to stream down the glass behind them. The room is beautiful in this light, soft and golden and peaceful. A deep sense of contentment settles over you, satisfaction with this space you have created, this life you are living. Miller lifts his head in his corner, noticing that you have moved to the bed. He watches you for a long moment, his dark eyes reflecting the candlelight. Then he stands slowly, his movements stiff and careful, his old joints protesting slightly. He walks over to the side of your bed, his gait heavy and measured, his nails clicking softly on the wooden floor. He approaches the bed and looks up at you, his tail wagging slowly. You can see the love in his eyes, the devotion. Reach out with one hand and rest it on his head, feeling the solid bone of his skull beneath his thick fur, feeling the warmth of his body. "Good boy," you whisper, your voice soft and low in the quiet room, barely louder than the rain. Miller's tail wags harder for a moment. He presses his head more firmly into your hand, leaning against your touch. Scratch behind his ears, finding the spots he likes best. His eyes close slightly in pleasure. Let your hand rest on his head for a long moment. This connection between you and this old dog who has been your companion through so many days and nights. Gratitude flows for him, for his steady presence, for the way he watches over you. Then Miller pulls away gently and turns, walking back to his bed in the corner. He circles once, twice, 3 times in that ancient canine ritual. Then he lowers himself down with a soft groan of satisfaction, arranging his body into a comfortable position. Within moments his eyes are closed and his breathing has deepened. He will sleep there through the night, keeping his vigil, making sure you are safe. Lie back fully now, no longer propped up but horizontal. Your head sinks into the pillows. Your body stretches out along the length of the bed. Arrange yourself on your back with your arms at your sides, outside the covers, your hands resting on your stomach. Feel the full support of the mattress beneath you, every part of your body held and cradled. Close your eyes for a moment, testing the darkness behind your eyelids. It feels good, it feels right, but you are not quite ready to keep them closed. So open them again and look up at the ceiling, at the exposed timber beams that cross overhead, creating their pattern of dark lines against white plaster. Trace these beams with your eyes, following them from one end of the room to the other. The repetitive motion of your gaze soothes, provides meditation, another way of quieting your mind, of giving it something simple to focus on so that it does not wander off into worry or planning. The beams are solid and strong. They have supported this roof for generations. Knowing this creates a sense of security, of being protected by something that has proven its worth over time. Your body is beginning to feel heavy now, truly heavy, each limb weighted and relaxed. Notice this heaviness with gratitude, recognizing it as a sign that your nervous system is downshifting, that your body is preparing itself for the deep rest it needs. Your muscles are releasing their daytime tension, letting go of the subtle contractions they held while you were active. Feel this release happening throughout your body, in your shoulders, in your back, in your legs, in your feet. It is as though you are sinking slightly into the mattress, your body becoming denser, more solid, more earthbound. Your breath has slowed naturally, without any effort on your part. Each inhale and exhale longer and more measured than it was even a few minutes ago. Notice the pause between breaths lengthening, that moment of stillness at the top of the inhale and the bottom of the exhale. These pauses feel peaceful, feel like small deaths and rebirths, the constant cycle of breathing that sustains your life continuing on its own, requiring no conscious attention from you. The lavender scent is still present, still gentle, drifting from where you tuck the bundle between the pillows. Breathe it in consciously now, letting it fill your nose and lungs. Imagine that with each breath you are drawing in calm, drawing in peace, drawing in the essence of this safe place you have created. The scent seems to work directly on your nervous system, bypassing your conscious mind, speaking to some deeper part that knows how to rest, that remembers how to surrender to sleep. Become aware of the sounds of the room, the layers of sound that make up this moment. The rain is the dominant sound, that steady pattering on the roof and against the window. Beneath that you can hear Miller's breathing from his corner, deep and even. Somewhere beneath that, so faint you almost cannot hear it, the soft crackle of the candle flames as they consume their wax. These sounds create a symphony of safety, a layered composition that tells you everything is as it should be, that you are protected and watched over and allowed to rest. Close your eyes again. This time let them stay closed, surrendering to the darkness, trusting it. Behind your closed lids, you can still sense the candlelight from the alcove, a warm glow that penetrates even through skin and membrane. This light is comforting, a gentle presence that assures you that you are not alone, that the room is still here, that the farm is still here, that everything continues even as you let go. Breathe deeply here, 3 slow breaths to mark the final transition into sleep. First breath, in through your nose for a count of 4, filling your belly completely, feeling it rise like a balloon. Hold for a count of 4 at the top, then out through your mouth for a count of 6, emptying completely, feeling your belly draw in. Pause for a count of 2 at the bottom. Second breath, in through your nose for 4, filling your chest this time, feeling your ribs expand. Hold for 4. Out through your mouth for 6, feeling your chest soften and collapse. Pause for 2. Third breath, in through your nose for 4, filling your whole torso from belly to chest to shoulders. Hold for 4. Out through your mouth for 6, releasing everything, every last bit of air, every last bit of holding. Pause for 2, and in this pause, notice the profound stillness, the absence of movement, the space between breaths where peace lives. Let your breathing return to its natural rhythm now, no longer controlling it, just letting it be. Trust your body to breathe while you rest. You lie very still now, your body completely relaxed. Feel yourself beginning to drift, not falling but floating, as though you are suspended in something warm and safe, something that holds you without effort. Your body has become very still, and you are barely aware of it anymore. Just a vague sense of weight and warmth and pressure against the mattress. Your mind is quieting too, thoughts slowing to a trickle, and then to scattered images, fragments that appear and disappear like fish in a dark pond, glimpsed but not caught, seen but not held. The rain continues its lullaby, and you let the sound wash over you. Let it fill your awareness until there is nothing else, just the steady rhythm of water against roof, against glass, against earth. There is no need to think about the rain, no need to analyze it or respond to it or do anything with it. It simply is, and so are you. And the two of you exist together in this moment, separate but connected, each doing exactly what needs to be done. There is nowhere else you need to be. No task waiting for your attention, no problem demanding to be solved, no future requiring you to plan for it. There is only this moment, and this bed, and this room, and the rain, and the slow, inevitable pull of sleep that is drawing you down, drawing you deeper, drawing you away from waking and toward the rest you need. Imagine now that with each exhale, you are sinking just a little deeper into the mattress, as though the mattress is made of the softest cloud, as though it is learning the exact shape of your body and molding itself to hold you perfectly. With each breath out, you sink. With each breath in, you float. But the sinking is winning, gently, gradually, and you are going deeper and deeper into relaxation, deeper and deeper towards sleep. Notice how your face has softened, the muscles around. Your eyes have released, the muscles in your jaw have unclenched. Your tongue rests heavily in your mouth. Your lips are slightly parted. Your forehead is smooth. all the muscles that hold expression, that communicate emotion, that respond to the world, all of these have let go, have surrendered, have stopped their work. Notice how your shoulders have dropped, falling away from your ears, settling down toward the mattress. All the weight you carry on your shoulders, literally and metaphorically, has been set down. You are not carrying anything anymore. You are being carried instead, held by this bed, supported by this foundation, cradled by this room. Notice how your hands have opened. Earlier they were making fists, perhaps, or curved in some tension. Now they rest open, palms up or palms down, fingers slightly curled, completely relaxed. These hands that worked today, that held things and carried things and made things, these hands are at rest now, their job done, their service complete. Notice how your legs have become heavy, so heavy, each leg weighing more and more, as though they are made of lead, as though they are sinking through the mattress, down through the bed frame, down through the floorboards, down into the earth itself. Your legs do not need to hold you up anymore. Your legs do not need to carry you anywhere. They can simply rest, simply be heavy, simply sink. You are safe here at Stone Creek Farm. These old walls hold you, these stone and timber structures that have stood for generations. They stand now for you, creating shelter, creating sanctuary, creating a space where you can let go completely. Miller is in his corner, breathing steadily, keeping his watch even in his sleep. His presence means you do not have to be vigilant. You do not have to stay alert. You can trust him to notice anything that might need your attention. You can rest knowing he is there. Fig is in the window, warm and content, dreaming her cat dreams. Her contentment becomes your contentment. Her peace becomes your peace. Beyond this room, the farm continues in its nightly rhythms. The horses are in the stable, standing together in their stalls, barley and bramble, friends and companions, their massive bodies radiating warmth, their eyes closing and opening in the slow drift of equine sleep. They do not worry about tomorrow. They do not plan or strategize or fear. They simply stand in their warm stable, occasionally shifting their weight from one leg to another, occasionally lowering their heads to pull a mouthful of hay from the pile before them, occasionally sighing in contentment. They are at peace, and their peace radiates out across the farm, touching everything, touching you. The chickens are roosting in their house, the colonel on his perch with Henrietta beside him, and all the hens are fluffed and warm and safe. They sleep with their heads tucked under their wings, balanced on one leg, utterly relaxed, trusting that the structure around them will keep them safe. That morning will come when it comes, that they need do nothing but rest until the sun calls them to wakefulness again. Bessie and Buttercup, the Highland cows, are lying in their shelter, chewing their cud in that slow, rhythmic way that cows have, their long ginger fur protecting them from any chill. They lie close together, sharing warmth, their large brown eyes half closed, peaceful and content. Puddle and Splash, the ducks, are tucked into their floating house on the brook, their heads under their wings, rocking gently with the movement of the water, the rain creating tiny ripples all around them, but their house staying dry, staying safe. Everything on the farm is as it should be. Every creature is safe and settled. You are part of this. You are woven into the fabric of this place, this life. The farm sleeps around you like a living thing, breathing and dreaming and resting in the rain. Take one more deep breath, feeling it fill you completely, filling your belly and your chest and your throat. As you exhale, feel yourself let go just a little bit more, releasing another layer of awareness, another level of consciousness, sinking deeper into the space between waking and sleeping, that liminal zone where anything is possible, where time becomes fluid and thoughts become dreams. Your breath is very slow now, barely there. Trust your body to keep breathing without your attention, to do its work while you rest, while you sleep, to maintain all the functions that keep you alive, your heart beating, your blood flowing, your cells regenerating, your brain processing and integrating and preparing for tomorrow, which will come in its own time. Imagine now that you are not just lying on a bed, but that you are floating on a raft on a calm, dark lake. The water beneath you is perfectly still, perfectly smooth, perfectly warm. The raft rocks you gently, so gently, back and forth, in a rhythm that matches your breathing, that matches the rain, that matches your heartbeat. You are completely safe on this raft. You cannot fall off. You cannot sink. You can only float, drift, relax, more and more deeply. The sky above the lake is filled with soft clouds, and these clouds are the same clouds that brought the rain to Stone Creek Farm, and they glow faintly with reflected light from somewhere far away, creating a gentle luminescence that is soothing rather than bright. As you float on your raft, you watch these clouds slowly moving across the sky, changing shape, transforming from one form to another, and watching them is hypnotic, mesmerizing, pulling you deeper and deeper into relaxation. The water begins to warm even more beneath you, creating a cocoon of perfect temperature, and this warmth seeps through the raft and into your body, spreading through your back, down your legs, up into your shoulders and neck. The warmth is healing, restorative, melting away any remaining tension, any remaining holding, any remaining thought. The raft begins to drift now, moving slowly across the surface of the lake, carried by some gentle current that you cannot see or feel directly, only know by the slow, steady movement. The raft is taking you somewhere safe, somewhere peaceful, somewhere where deep sleep lives, and you trust this raft, trust this current, trust this journey. As you drift, the sounds around you begin to change. The rain is still there, but it is more distant now, softer, as though it is falling on the far shore of the lake rather than directly on you. Miller's breathing is still audible, but it too has become distant, a soft rhythm in the background. All the sounds of the room and the farm are fading gently, not disappearing but receding, becoming part of a larger silence, a deeper quiet. Your body feels different now. It feels lighter, even though just moments ago it felt heavy. It feels as though it is made not of flesh and bone, but of something softer, something more like mist or fog or cloud. You are dissolving into the darkness, becoming one with it, merging with it, no longer separate from it. The boundaries between your body and the bed, between your skin and the air, between waking and sleeping, all these boundaries are blurring, softening, disappearing. Thoughts drift through your mind like leaves floating on the surface of the lake. Each thought appears, floats for a moment, and then drifts away, carried by the current. You do not try to hold on to any of them. You do not try to understand them or follow them or complete them. You simply watch them appear and disappear, and gradually they come less and less frequently, and the spaces between them grow longer and longer, until there are no thoughts at all, only the deep, quiet darkness of approaching sleep. The candles in the window will burn for a while longer, their flames gradually consuming the wax. Eventually they will burn down to nothing and will gutter and go out one by them, one, and darkness will fill the room completely. But you will not see this because you will be sleeping deeply and dreamlessly, held safe in the cocoon of blankets and the protection of the farmhouse and the sound of the rain that will continue through the night. The rain will still be falling when morning comes, or perhaps it will have passed, leaving everything fresh and clean and new. You will wake to that fresh world when the time is right. But that is later, that is tomorrow, that is not now. There is no need to think about it, no need to anticipate it, because the future will take care of itself, and you need only to rest now, to sleep now, to let go now. You are drifting deeper, floating further down into the soft darkness of sleep. The world is receding, becoming distant and dreamlike. Let it go willingly, gratefully, because you know you can return to it whenever you need to, that it will be waiting for you, patient and unchanging when you wake. But for now it is fading, becoming less important, becoming irrelevant, because the only thing that matters now is sleep, is rest, is the deep restoration that comes when you surrender completely. Your breathing is almost imperceptible now, just the slightest rise and fall of your chest, barely visible even if someone were watching. Your heartbeat has slowed to its deepest resting rhythm, steady and strong but quiet, the bass drum that keeps time with your existence, fading into the background until you cannot hear it anymore, cannot feel it anymore, can only trust that it is there, doing its work, keeping you alive while you rest. All the small sounds of your body, the rush of blood through veins, the subtle movement of air through your nose and throat, the faint gurgling of your digestive system, the whisper of skin against sheets, all of these fade into a background so soft it might as well be silence. In this silence you are floating, drifting, falling gently into sleep like a leaf falling from a tree, slowly spiraling down through still air. No hurry, no rush, just the natural pull of gravity, of rest, of release. You are safe here. You are home. You are held by this bed, by this room, by this farmhouse, by this farm, by the earth itself that supports all of it. The solid ground that will be here tomorrow and the day after that and forever, constant and unchanging beneath your feet when you walk upon it. But for now you do not need to walk, you do not need to stand, you do not need to do anything at all except rest. Imagine that the raft you have been floating on is now approaching a shore, a gentle beach of the softest sand, and as the raft touches the sand, it stops moving, and you are invited to step off the raft and onto this beach. The sand is warm beneath your feet, so warm, heated by some invisible sun. And as you walk up the beach, away from the water, you see ahead of you a place to sleep, a bed made of clouds, or perhaps a nest made of the softest feathers, or perhaps just a warm hollow in the sand itself, shaped perfectly to receive you. You walk toward this sleeping place, each step bringing you closer to complete rest. And as you walk, you feel yourself becoming lighter and lighter, as though you are not quite walking anymore, but floating, drifting, almost flying. The sleeping place is just ahead now, just a few more steps, and you can see how comfortable it looks, how inviting, how perfectly made for you. One more step, another, and now you are there, standing before the sleeping place, and you lower yourself down into it, feeling it rise up to meet you, feeling it mold itself around your body, holding you, supporting you, welcoming you. You lie back and the sleeping place embraces you completely, and you are warm and safe and held. The farm sleeps around you, the land rests under the rain, the barn and greenhouse and workshop are all dark and quiet. You are the heart of this, the center, the reason for all of it. You sleep now. You rest now. You release now into the deepest, most restorative sleep, knowing that when you wake, the world will still be here, perhaps transformed by rain, perhaps gleaming with fresh moisture, but fundamentally the same. You will be refreshed too, renewed, ready to meet whatever comes with the same gentle presence you have brought to this evening. Sleep now. Let yourself sleep. Let the rain sing you deeper into rest, its rhythm becoming your rhythm, its steadiness becoming your steadiness, its endless patient falling becoming your endless patient surrender. Let the darkness hold you like loving arms, like the embrace of someone who cares for you deeply, like the protection of the earth itself, ancient and strong and infinitely patient. Let the lavender guide you into dreams so soft they are barely dreams at all, just pleasant drifts of sensation and memory, harmless and brief, fleeting images that come and go like clouds across a summer sky, leaving no mark, causing no disturbance, just passing through the landscape of your sleeping mind. You are safe here at Stone Creek Farm. Deep sleep is here, wrapping itself around you like a quilt, like fog settling into a valley, like the protective presence of the old farmhouse itself. You are falling into it now, gently, easily, naturally, like a stone sinking through still water, down and down and down until you reach the soft bottom where true rest lives, where nothing can disturb you, where nothing can reach you, where the mind stops its eternal chatter and the body releases its eternal vigilance. You are simply here, simply present, simply being, without thought, without effort, without anything at all except the pure experience of existence at its most basic level. You are safe, you are home, you are sleeping now. There is nothing else you need to do, nothing else you need to be, nothing else you need to worry about or think about or plan for or anticipate or fear or hope for or want or need. In this moment, in this sleep, you are complete, you are whole, you are enough, exactly as you are. The candles burn lower in the window, their flames shrinking as the wax pools and melts. The rain continues its ancient song, patient and steady. The same song it has sung for millions of years, will sing for millions more, indifferent to human concerns, simply doing what rain does, falling and soaking and nourishing. Miller sighs in his corner, shifting slightly in his sleep, his paws twitching as he dreams of running through fields. Fig purrs on, a constant motor of contentment. And you are already gone, already deep in the embrace of sleep, your breath slow and even, your face relaxed, all the lines of worry smoothed away, all the tension released, all the holding let go. You are sleeping now, deeply and peacefully. The night will pass around you without disturbing you. The rain will fall and the earth will drink it in. The farm will rest and restore itself. You will rest and restore yourself. Morning will come eventually, as it always does, bringing light and bird song and the smell of wet earth. But that is hours away still, many hours away. For now there is only this, darkness and rain and warmth and safety and the deep, deep sleep of complete surrender. You are descending now through layers of consciousness, through levels of awareness, moving from light sleep to deeper sleep to the deepest sleep of all. Each layer you pass through is darker, quieter, more peaceful than the last. Each layer takes you further from the waking world and closer to the restorative depths where true healing happens. The first layer is like twilight, where thoughts still flicker occasionally, like fireflies in the gathering dusk. But even as you notice them, they fade, disappear, become nothing. The second layer is like full night, where thought has ceased completely, and there is only sensation, only the feeling of warmth and weight, and the gentle rocking rhythm that carries you deeper. The third layer is like the deepest ocean, where even sensation fades, and there is only being, only existence, only the pure fact of your continued life, your continued breathing, your continued heartbeat. And below that, below even the deepest ocean, is a place where words cannot follow, where description cannot reach, where you simply are, without knowing that you are, without thinking or feeling or sensing, just existing in the most profound rest, the most complete peace. You are there now, or very close, just a little further, just a little deeper, just one more breath, one more exhale, one more release. Let go now, completely, utterly, finally. Let go of the room, let go of the farm, let go of the rain, let go of your body, let go of your mind, let go of everything. There is nothing left to hold, nothing left to carry, nothing left to do. You are sleeping deeply, completely, totally. The sleep is here, the rest is here, the peace is here. You are held by forces larger than yourself, ancient, forces that have been working since the beginning of time. The forces that tell seeds when to sprout, and tell birds when to migrate, and tell your body when to rest and how to heal. Trust these forces, surrender to these forces, let them do their work. Your body knows how to sleep, your body knows how to heal, your body knows how to prepare itself for tomorrow. Your body is doing this work now, invisibly, perfectly, exactly as it needs to. You need do nothing. You need be nothing. You need only rest. Sleep now. Sleep deeply. Sleep peacefully. Sleep safely. You are home. You are held. You are loved. You are safe. Good night. You are safe here at Stone Creek Farm. Deep sleep is here, and you are wrapped in it now, held by it, carried by it down into the deepest rest, where healing happens, where restoration occurs, where the body and mind do their invisible work of repair and renewal. You are safe, you are sleeping, you are home. The rain continues to fall, will continue to fall through. The night, its rhythm never changing, its purpose never wavering. And this constancy is the last thing you are aware of, before even awareness itself fades away. Water falling on roof, water falling on glass, water falling on earth, breath flowing in, breath flowing out. Heart beating slow and steady, life continuing while you rest. Everything is exactly as it should be. You are sleeping now. Deep sleep. Good night.